Okay, so bear with me as I try to explain this while being a bit hungover. There was an experiment done by a guy called Mr. Emoto. Um, Pretty much it was to do with water and the effects that thought can have on water. What he did to begin this experiment is, well, I've got one example, okay. He went to a well severely polluted place with water, okay, and he took a sample of this water, and what he did is he put it in a petri dish, which is one of those little science dishes. He froze it, and then he would look at it under a microscope and see what the result was. So he had this little particle of water. Now, what he saw when he did this, when he froze it and looked at it, was this. Okay, so there's not much shape there, okay, there's nothing really, there's just some kind of bubbles, lines. Yep, nothing too flash. And then what he did is, the guy who actually was running the experiment, he blessed the water. And then he did the same thing. He took a sample of it, froze it, put it under a microscope, and then the same water showed up like this. Okay? So from this being blessed to the original, it's quite a large difference. Now, that's just one example. He did this with a lot of different places, and the same thing happened. Not the same beautiful picture came up, but very similar. Every single one was very similar. So he did things with Buddhist monks. He'd get a Buddhist monk to go pray in water or meditate in it, and the same thing would happen. So he was pretty much proving that your thoughts affect water. And then he did another experiment. After doing a lot of these, he has I think over 150 different experiments with, and then he did one with jars of water. So he got a jar of water, he put a label around the outside, and the label would be a word. So I think he had words like love and gratitude, the chi of love, chai of love, chi, and other various positive phrases or words. And then he had one saying something like, you were disgusting, I hate you, you will die, that type of thing. Now, all he did was let the words be on the bottle. If people saw it, then of course they'd look at it and that's what they'd be thinking when they're looking at the bottle. Then he did the same thing with each one. He did the whole freezing it and looking at it under a microscope. They all came back with things that look like this. All different, but all the same kind of structure. Very beautiful, very intricate, very detailed. You can't really see the detail, but it is phenomenal detail. And then the I hate you one just had bubbles and this bigger line through it. There was nothing that looked good about it, pretty much. I mean, it's great, but in contrast to the positive thoughts, the negative thoughts clearly showed that we were changing the molecular structure of water. So, that's pretty big. So, what does this tell us? I've done an experiment too, which I'll explain later on, not in this video because I don't have enough time. But I proved to myself that my thoughts affect water. And I think, if you don't believe me through this, do it yourself and you will see that it happens. So I'll let you know about it. Why I think this is so important is that your thought, your intention affects things. Where our body is over 70% water, can you imagine what positive and negative thoughts do to the body and the mind? So to think that we can change the structure of water to the smallest particle, that's a big thing. I guess if you're depressed or sad or upset or angry, you're more prone to getting sick. I mean, what you're doing is recycling negative thoughts around your body. It's not going anywhere, it's just you thinking it and then it becomes what you think. I used to get really bad migraines, and ever since drinking more water, but not stressing about things, I haven't had a headache. I've noticed straight away that when I stress, I get a headache. You guys would notice that too, and that's your mind affecting your body, not you just getting a headache because you're getting a headache. There's always normally a reason behind it. Either you're dehydrated or there's thoughts. So, take note. If you want something to happen, if you want to be healthy, you need to think positive thoughts. Positivity will get you everywhere, and negativity will damage you. And it's fine to think negative thoughts, but you will not be any greater for it. It's better for you to think positive thoughts. 100% believe something, and it will happen. It will happen. I want you to do this, and I know you will do it. And I'm going to explain to you this experiment that I did. And check it out. Do it, because if you don't believe me, do it. But do not think negative thoughts. There is no point to doing it. You will get better.